All right, so I had presentation number 11, or fact number 11 is Negroland, West Africa, aka Slave Coast. And I'm going to ask the question about Negroland. Was there ever a land of Negroes or a land of the Blacks? It looks like there was. We have several maps that we can find on various websites. Most of those are EDU websites where we can find maps that lay out where Negroes live, aka Blacks live, and these are just two that that I wanted to show you. The one on the right is my most favorite Negroland map, and I'll share regarding that a little later in the presentation. Negroland is the map that, this particular one is the one that showed to me. One day, I've always been researching Africa, trying to figure out who we are, why we are, where we came from. I don't know how many times I looked up maps of Africa. And one day, about 2 years ago, I decided, let me just Google maps of Africa. And lo and behold, Negroland came up. And this is the exact map that came up. And this really facilitated my awakening because, again, I don't know how many times I've Googled maps of Africa, and this map never came up until it was time, I believe, for my awakening. Negroland is located in West Africa. It's situated right above Guinea. It is also called Negrita. It is where Negro people live. It is also called the land of Sudan, not the current day Sudan that we know of, but the ancient land of Sudan. So the word so means land, and Udan means Judah. So thus you have the land of Judah is what Sudan means. During the Arabic dominance, it was divided into various sections. One was Western Sudan, and then the Negroland designation, which was proper Guinea. And then you had Central Sudan, Eastern Sudan, Ethiopia, which was Ethiopia / Abyssinia, and it's also translated as al-Sudan, or land of the Blacks. And you can find this in historical documents. Let's see here. Africa, Sudan, or Negroland, 14th century Songhai Empire ruled that area. It was the largest African Islamic empire ever. There was a battle back and forth between Songhai and the Malay Empire rulership. In 1430, somewhere there about, the Soni dynasty took rulership under the Songhai Empire. Under that empire, there was the Israelite king heritage, and also a number of those people converted to Islam. So that's probably where you get, where at least I've heard on a lot of occasions, that Islam was our natural religion before we were taken in ships and brought to America, which is, not true. Very, very so not true. Still going with the Africa, Sudan, and Negroland. Ancient Judeo-Arabic literature says that Jewish communities existed there. There were Jews of Balad al-Sudan. They were descendants of exiled Jews from the Middle East, which is what was Israel, Assyria, Babylon. They're also from North Africa, from Spain, and Portugal. Still continuing with the literature, there were Jewish communities scattered throughout Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. Empires on the West Coast, West African coast, include Senegal, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, the Ivory Coast, Cape Verde, Proper Guinea, which is the modern day Ghana, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, and Cameroon. During the British takeover, There was colony and protectorate of southern Nigeria. Those found living there were mostly the Igbos, which we can pronounce those Igbos, which translates to Hebrews and or Hebrews. This is where present day Nigeria is, and Lagos. Lagos is the most populated city, and that city was colonized on March 5th, 1862, right before we were released from slavery in the United States of America. Just share just a few quick maps of Africa. There are many. Some of the most notable are Map of Africa by Mr. Bolton in the year 1766. And it shows, if we could see it, it shows different little communities here on West Africa. And it states that there were Jewish people living in these areas. We have Negro Land in Guinea by Emmanuel Bowen, which of course is my favorite. We have The Guinea and Negrita by Holman Ayres, which was printed in 1737. We have Negro Land in Guinea by Herman Moles, the year 1736. And I need to point out that these maps were created by cartographers, and usually these cartographers worked for the higher ups, say in Britain and Spain, Portugal, those types of places. So they were paid to go and chart out the land as they saw it or as they heard or as they knew. And they brought these maps back to their kings and queens. So these are maps that Europeans created. And the Europeans are the ones that said that Negroes were living in these places. And so it's not something that we just made up and we just pulled it out of our hats so that we could try and pretend that we are people that we are not. And then there's the Danville Map of Africa, which was created in 1747. Some of the telltale signs of the maps of Africa, there is the city of Lam Lam or Lam Lim, and it is located in what is the modern day Niger or Nigeria. In the 12th century, it was written of by Muhammad al-Idrisi. It was a Black Hebrew Israelite colony. And there's a book called The Description of Central Africa, and it states, in the whole land of Lam Lam, which is Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, Niger, there are but two small cities, or as it were, villages, and those are Malel and Dao, situated at the distance of 4 days' journey from each other. Their inhabitants, as people of these parts relate, are Black Jews, most of them unbelieving and ignorant. And I imagine the unbelieving means we didn't adhere to Catholicism. So of course you're an unbeliever if you didn't adhere to that belief or that construct. And of course you're ignorant. Yes, we were ignorant to that. More telltale signs regarding the map of West Africa and how it was divided up. It was divided up, the little West Coast area that you see, it was divided up into the Gold Coast, the Ivory Coast, and the Grain Coast, finally the Slave Coast. And I felt like that's one of the most telling of them all, is that the Kingdom of Judah is labeled the Slave Coast on that map. And again, Europeans labeled that. So that was another big factor for me when I saw that and saw that the Slave Coast, which they labeled, and they're saying that's where they got slaves from, it is also the Kingdom of Judah. That's amazing to me. And just talk just a little bit about what, as we wrap it up, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And Zephaniah 3:10 says, from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughters of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. And then if we look at some of the ancient maps of Africa, the ocean here, oh, excuse me, got too quick with the hands. The ocean, which we now call the Atlantic Ocean, was called the Ethiopian Ocean, as you can see on both of these maps. whereas the continent of Africa was referred to as Ethiopia. It was called Ethiopia, the entire land. And now it's shrunk down to just maybe a little spot over here is now Ethiopia. But in antiquity, the entire continent was Ethiopia. And they had their own ocean. So when Zephaniah speaks of the rivers beyond Ethiopia, it's talking about the rivers or the ocean or the water that's beyond what is now the Atlantic Ocean. Again, with beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, we see in Isaiah 18, 1 through 6, but I'm going to quote 1 and 2. Woe to the land shadowing with wings. Anybody know any land that has wings on their emblem, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia? There we go again. It goes beyond that sea of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the water, saying, Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out, trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. Just in conclusion, there are some things to ponder. Statistically, 99% of the Jews worldwide are white Europeans. And you notice I put Jews in italics. We should say Jewish, because we all know when you put an ish on something, it means something like. So those who are something like the Yehudi, 99% of those people are white Europeans. Where did all these Black Jews in Africa come from that we're seeing on these maps? These are not Ethiopian Jews whom these Arab historians are testifying to have met while in Africa. These Africans did not convert to Judaism by traveling to Israel and then coming back down to Africa with a brand new religion. The Black Jews were following the law of Moses from the Torah and practicing Hebrew customs before Christianity or Islam entered into the continent of Africa. White European Jews cannot turn black in the sun, nor can they have Black children. The original Jews were Black. This means somebody is obviously lying about who the real children of Israel are. People with an agenda lie, but historical accounts don't lie.